A recording in progress, and I am sitting here with Hippie Mike. Now, Hippie Mike and I got connected through TBK Brett Devlou, uh, because you have made a massive impact on Brett's life just by like showing up, being supportive, and being authentic to who you are, and helping him be authentic to who he is in the skateboard world. I love it.
Mhm.
I love
Yeah,
it.
man. Brett's awesome.
Yeah. So you have been skating for a long time, hey? Like what got you into skateboarding? And when? Tell me the story. I want to know.
So I think a lot of people my age all started skateboarding in 1986 because everyone got skateboards for Christmas after Back to the Future came out, which
Yes.
is 1985, right? And I didn't get a skateboard for Christmas, but when spring came, I lived in Ontario at the time, so definitely no skateboarding in the winter there. And spring came out, and all the guys that I hung out with in my neighborhood, we lived on like a crescent. They were all out in the streets skateboarding, and most of them were older. They were 3 or 4 years older than me, and I was like, "Well, I want to do that." And I went to Canadian Tire and bought a Dominion Complete for $40 and had my own board. I was 7 years old, right?
Oh, nice. That's awesome. 7 years old. Okay, so at that point, are you just like skating around, learning balance, how to stop and turn and all that kind of stuff? Or did you just go for the gusto and like ollie right away? What's going on?
I'm one of those people that, as a kid, what I saw other people do, I would do that. And
Mhm.
um, when you say that, it's interesting because I teach a lot of kids. And so what you think you're doing isn't always what you're actually doing. So I would sometimes be doing stuff that was different than what they were doing, but think I was doing the same thing. And sometimes I would do stuff harder than what they were doing by accident. But really, I just, someone was like, "Yeah, you just push," and off we went. Back then, boards were big. They were, 10 inches big, wide, and big wheels. They were made for anyone to just jump on and skateboard. So we were, just all skating around the streets, and there was a parking lot near our school, and some of the guys had like parking curbs pulled out, and they were doing board slides. So I was just went at it and did a board slide. So it was just natural right from the start.
Yeah. That's one thing that I absolutely have mad respect for skateboard, like the skateboard community, and that is the fact that you guys just keep going until you get it. Like you,
Mm,
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you're just
yeah.
okay. I fall on my face. I freaking eat shit. I get so much road rash. It doesn't matter. I'm getting back on the board and I'm just gonna tweak it a little bit until you complete what you're trying to do. Talk to me about the mindset that goes into that because that is hard. Like most people don't do that.
Part of it's determination, part of it's addiction, right? And so,
Mm.
like, I've skateboarded since 1986. This is going to be 40 years,
Yeah.
right? And why am I still out there? Because I still learn stuff.
Mm.
Even though all the injuries I've been through, everything, like I still learn new things, and it's the addiction to pushing your pushing your own boundaries, right? So I always say skateboarders are the toughest people on the planet because we literally smash ourselves into the ground all day long. And I'll have that argument with anyone that is another athlete and tells me, "Oh, yeah, you ever played football or whatever?" And it's like, "Yeah, I have." And yes, you're getting smashed, but you are not the one doing it for hours and hours and hours. You are the going to the practice at scheduled time. You know what you're doing. You know what to expect. When you're going at something in the streets, you don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like you're on your face, whatever, out of nowhere, and you
Hmm.
decide whether or not to keep going, right? And most of us don't give up because, especially if you're talented enough that you're out there filming for a project, you're there for a reason. If you don't do it, it's going to haunt you in your brain. So you have to do it. Even if you don't do it that day, you're going to go back. You're going to want it until it's done,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Is there Or I mean, I'm sure there is. Like, how much does self-talk go like play into this?
Yeah, I never stopped talking to myself
Yeah.
all day long. But yeah, no, it's definitely it's all in your brain. And as someone that films others skateboarding, I'm good at encouraging one way or another, aggressively or not, while I'm filming that person. Like keep talking to them because you get all messed up in your head. You're like, it should have worked. Why didn't it work? And I yell at my kid all the time while he's filming me because he films silently. And I'm like, if you just swear at me and tell me to do it, maybe I'll land it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're pissing me off for not yelling at me, right?
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's all self motivation, right? And so you wake up that day with your desires, and some people just want to go ride around on their skateboard, and some people want to skate transition only, and some people want to jump off 20 stairs. You
Yeah.
know, I like all of it, but I can't jump off stuff anymore.
No. How many injuries have you had?
Countless, man,
Yeah.
countless. But I snowboarded a lot at a young age as well, right? I started snowboarding 2 years after I started skateboarding,
Mm,
and I consider myself one of the best in Ontario at that time in the 90s. And like we were doing all the flips, everything just flying through the air. When you messed up, like you're wrecked,
hmm.
and we were inventing all those tricks too. It wasn't like you saw the other people do them and then you went and did them. We were just like, what happens if I twist like this when I take off? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And so lots of quick emergency room visits, but no major broken bones or anything until I was older. Um, I did dislocate my elbow when I was a teenager, but that was that was it. Like other than that, it was just like face smashes and bad ankle sprains and that sort of stuff and whatever. And then when I got older, I really messed my knee up probably around like 2003 to 2005, somewhere in there,
Hmm.
and didn't deal with it. Like I just went home and like fully had to put my leg back together in the
Hmm.
middle of where I was because it came right apart. And that was off like an 8 stair, right? So it was a hard impact to dislocate it. And I just put it back together and went straight home to the bathtub and just started rehabbing it. Like I didn't go to the doctor. I don't know what else I damaged at that time. Um, and years later, I remember it was probably 10 years later, almost 8 to 10 years. Um, I hit my ankle off the end of my board doing like a grab out of a bowl. And like when I came back to put my foot back on, I like connected the ankle bone to the end of my board and it really hurt. Like it was like one of the most painful things that ever happened to me. And my ankle was out of place a bit and I put it back together and same thing, just went home and dealt with it until it felt safe enough to skate on. But what I didn't know was I actually broke my ankle
Oh.
and I'd actually broke the bottom, like a piece off my tibia bone.
Hmm.
And so I didn't get it fixed. And it took me 7 years to find that out. So in that 7 year period, I actually could count about six different times that I would have broke my ankle in that period. And because I didn't fix it, my leg all got warped. My tibia bone I had to have surgery to straighten my tibia bone in 2017. Because my ACL was torn right in half. Like everything my body just fell apart. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so I went through three major surgeries in a row over 4 years. And like each one was like, learn how to walk, strengthen
Hmm.
as much as you can, be ready to get broken. And the
Yeah.
third one, I wasn't planned, but I broke my leg in half on my ramp at home. And that was when that doctor was the one that was like, well, this ankle's been broken for a while. He was pulling old x-rays and finding like pieces of bone that were fused to other pieces of bone.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the surgery to fix my ankle was supposed to be like 45 minutes and it was 3.5 hours.
Oh.
And so after that one, I like, if I was allowed to touch the ground, I would have walked out of the hospital. Like I was pain free when I came out of
Mm.
that surgery because that was years and years and years of pain that he took away.
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so coming back from that one, that was in 2019 when it happened. So 2020 was the year that I kind of, I don't know, I was in a different mindset. I was like, I kind of threw away all my sponsorships and just, I was like, I don't want anyone attached to me right now.
Mm,
Like, I just want to like skateboard, you know,
hmm
and spent the summer literally just going to all the old parks, all the bowls, all that type of stuff, and just really focusing on surfing, not doing tricks. And if I got stuck in like a mode where I was trying to do tricks and getting frustrated, I would like stop immediately and like get out of that and just go ride my board fast again.
hmm
And that put me back into the right mindset of like why I love to skateboard and why I love to teach all these other people and share our community with them. And so that's how I ended up with HMI Skate Park. Was after that summer, I was like, I need to go back to my roots of like what I used to do, teaching kids and
hmm
running all the events all over the lower mainland and all that stuff. And so I needed a home base and found this place in Hope where I lived, and it's been torture ever since.
Torture.
Financial torture ever
Right?
since.
Oh, truth, truth. So
Yeah.
there's a couple things in there. Like, let's go back to the injury piece because when we're speaking to young skaters, well, any skater really, but injury is something that hangs them up and they don't go get help because it's like, well, I'm in there all the time, or I know that a lot of times as a skateboarder, people in the community look at you differently. And and so it's like how do we get past that? Or what would you say to me if I was like a 14-year-old skater and I'm continuously hurting myself? Like what advice would you give to me so that I don't end up with, tons of back-to-back surgeries and a hurting bod later?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes surgery is inevitable.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you can't put that part in, but like the main thing is knowing what you want out of life, right? So like not like what do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Why are you continuing to do this? Do
Mhm.
you want to continue to do this? Is there something that's better for you right now? Right? And so like when Brett got hurt, for instance, he phones me from from the ambulance and I'm like just reassuring him that he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like your leg, we didn't know his femur was broken in half during that conversation, but even if I knew, I would have had the same conversation,
hmm
right? Because this is a traumatizing moment,
hmm
but you're going to be fine. We live in a place that like the doctors come and fix you.
Yeah.
It's wild when you think about it. To me, surgeons are psychos. I could never be a surgeon, but I'm glad that they're there, right?
Yes.
Um, but yeah, it's really like, take care of yourself and take the time to heal, to
hmm
answer your question, right? And when you do your rehab, like listen to what the doctor says, but do what's most comfortable for you. Like I do all my physio in water because it's weightless and I can push it harder, right? So I want to heal faster, but I don't want to hurt myself as I'm healing,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, and then the lesson learned was, go to the doctor when you hurt yourself. But I mean, I still hurt myself and don't go to the doctor. So,
So did you learn the lesson? No.
well, I know the lesson.
Yes,
I
yes.
just, I've been a self healer my whole life, right? So,
hmm
um, growing up, my dad was very sick. So he like I watched him suffer through every day.
mm
Like he would he had heart disease and whatever at a young age. And like they told him he had 2 years to live. He lived for 30 something more years.
Oh, wow.
So he he just was that inspiration of like you do what you want to do as
hmm
long as your body can handle it at that time. And if you can't handle it, then take a rest
Yeah.
and go do that later. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know with the elite athletes that I work with, it's interesting when it comes to like injury and recovery. Because what happens is like it's a completely different mindset. Before we're, in training and doing the reps and putting the time in and everything is towards our sport, but then we get injured and all of that energy and intention and attention has to shift to the healing part, like you said, like doing the exercises, resting. Resting is actually doing something, even though it doesn't feel like it, right? And
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
That's the hardest thing to do. Like for me to lay in a bed for over a month
yeah,
after they straightened my tibia,
yeah,
like I built the house I live in. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't sit down. So that was a tough one,
Hmm.
and like and when you're in the middle of recovery, your brain and you don't get along,
Hmm.
period.
Yes.
Like you just have to know, that's what I mean, like know what you want
Yeah.
from the beginning and just keep reminding yourself of that.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to, be able to function properly again,
Hmm.
right? I knew that I would never skate the same that I used to. I was already old enough to know that anyway. Like I
Hmm.
got to adjust as I grow older as it is. But, I think, I don't know if it's in the documentary we just made or not, but instead of quitting something, you just adjust to who you are now, right?
Yeah.
So like if skateboarding has been a part of me for this long, why would I not do it?
Hmm.
I'm just going to do it the way that I can now. And every
Hmm.
now and then I might push those boundaries back to like some stuff that I used to do and see if I can still do it and get mad if I can't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But I think you just gotta want it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta know, okay, this is what I'm gonna expect out of myself, and I'm gonna push to get to that level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It grows and evolves with you.
Mhm.
What, our passions are and our sports are and whatever. A lot of people do that, or they'll, they maybe won't be able to play anymore, so they'll switch it into coaching
That's right.
and teaching
Right.
and passing those skills and that passion on to the next generation. And that's all a part of our journey.
Yeah.
It's
And
just,
I think it's also important, I say this a lot, to learn like all aspects of what you do because
mm,
like I said before, I like to just skate pump tracks. I like to skate the old parks, the bowls, mini ramps, and street. Like I grew up a pure street skater. We didn't even have a skate park. I never skated a skate park till I had skated for almost 10 years. You
wow.
know what I mean? So like we were like just out in the street. As I grew older and lived in British Columbia and had access to all these parks, I found something called the Bowl Series, which is like a series of contests that goes to all the original skate parks in BC.
Oh, wow.
So they're all the snake run bowls that don't have metal coping at the top. You can
Yeah.
just roll in and out and they're funky shape and they look nicer, like not as dangerous, but they're all like 6 feet and deeper. Like
Yeah.
I think when we skate them, we forget because I don't like skating like normal bowls, like and that I don't like skating anything over 6 feet high anymore. I don't even like
Hmm.
skating 6 feet high anymore because I don't like running out of it. But
Yeah.
I go to bowl series and I skate all those parks and I'm in like 9 foot deep ends and just going as hard as I can, like not even thinking about it, right? But
Yeah.
to learn what I learned because of those events was probably one of the things that kept me being able to skate. Because if I had just been a pure street skater and expected to come back and still be able to ollie on the ledges and do all these flip tricks and all this stuff, my body wasn't allowing that. But
Hmm.
because I knew how to just like surf any transition at high speed, like if I can get my hair flowing, then I'm
Yeah,
happy.
buddy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that was a key piece to my recovery that wouldn't be there if I hadn't had that environment and also took advantage of it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I love
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
And that,
I take my kids street skating, we go film all the time. And I film. Like I'm not into I want to find funky things like rocks and barricades and that sort of stuff to skate out in the streets, but he wants to do the flip tricks down the sets and hit the rails and all that like stuff that I would do when I was young. So
Hmm.
I'm not going to be like, okay, I got to do that too. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good, you done? Now let's go to the pump track. So I can go fast for 10 minutes and then lay on the ground dying.
That's
Right?
so true though, because when we bring diversity in, whether it is in our within our sport, like for me, volleyball, right? Like I can play beach, I can play indoor, I can play co-ed, which means I'm playing on a higher net than I'm used to playing, like all this stuff, diversity within my sport. It's making my body learn new things, it's strengthening different muscles, and it's making my brain problem solve in different ways than I would if I was just playing, the regular old thing, right?
Great.
Yeah, and it's just all about that growth. And even you're hearing now so many of these, pro athletes are talking to youth athletes and their parents because so many kids, they're so young and they're getting so specific, like hockey. You're going to play hockey when you're 5 years old and you're going to play only hockey all year round for the rest of, and then all of a sudden they're getting injured and they're not making it and all of this stuff. And it's like, well, if we bring in shooting hoops with your friends and going skateboarding and doing all of these diverse things, they keep your joy in it and
That's right.
they build all your strength in a
Yeah.
different way.
Two things out of that one is we used to do these presentations in the schools all the time where we would show up with a freestyle skateboard team, so we didn't need any ramps. And we get the whole school in the gym, so there'd be like 500 people in the gym, and the skaters would go for, I don't know, 30 minutes. Now your entire audience is hyped up, their adrenaline is up, their attention is on you.
Yeah.
And me and my friend Troy, uh, who's well kept sustainables, Troy, we would just be the motivational speaker at the end. And I would just talk about exactly what you just said. Like finding, sorry, trying as many different things as you can in life and deciding what you want to put your time into the most,
Hmm.
right? Like if you don't try it, you don't know what it is. So
Yeah.
try everything you can, decide what you enjoyed, keep doing those things, decide what you really enjoy and put the most into that,
Yeah.
but still be able to do all the other things.
Yeah.
Like I grew up playing basketball, playing baseball, um, skateboarding, riding my bike, swimming, like everything, and just being a kid.
Yeah.
And that leads into my second point on this question is I have to continuously remind certain parents about that.
Yeah.
Is like you might have a dream for your kid, but don't ruin your kid's dream,
Yeah.
right? Or their passion towards it. Because the amount of kids that I have seen through all the skateboard events and teaching lessons and everything that I've done that quit skateboarding at a young age because they get too good too fast and then there's too much pressure on them.
Yeah.
That can be from their parent, that can be from the industry, that can be from their friends, from themselves,
Yeah.
whatever. And then they just quit. And they're
Yeah.
like, dude, you were friggin' amazing. You needed to quit the sponsorship, not the activity. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
But like, so that's a big one to me is like, I see the parents get, hey, this is my kid could be in the Olympics,
Yeah.
right? And that's great if they want to be.
Yeah.
Not every kid wants to be that.
Yeah.
And so skateboarding isn't a regular sport that you learn the same program as every other single person.
Yeah.
So you have to go off your passion in that world and say, I want to learn this type and this thing and that thing, and just let them be and appreciate how good they are and help
Mm-hmm.
them where they want to be. Don't direct them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a real big one.
Yeah. So as a parent, say my kid is doing really well and they're super excited about it, and how do I know when to like step in and facilitate extra this or that, or you know what I mean? Like how does a parent know when that time is?
yeah, is communication with your kid, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
just tell them how you feel, encourage them for what they're doing,
Yeah.
and then ask them their desires,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that parents don't do,
Yeah.
right? And so I've always treated my children like people from the
Yeah.
time they were born. Like I just talk to them, they're a baby, okay? I just talk to them like normal people, and eventually they'll know how to talk back,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can't overstep them,
Mm.
right? They got in it for a reason. They can ask for your help,
Yes.
right? And some parents really, really push that level too far,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? And some push it because they can help in the ways that they need to, and they're just giving you a little bit of an extra boost,
Mm.
like one of our kids here, Mac, he he just turned 11, and I started teaching him right before we opened this place, so in 2020. So he was 6 years old, and I saw something in him right from the start, just from seeing him at the skate park. So I was glad that he got into it. And his dad actually rents a building off me on this property and does all a martial arts studio in there, right? And Mac just got really good really fast. And he tried all kinds of skateboarding. He really, really likes the bowls. And then he started learning how to skate vert, which is
Hmm.
hard to find right now, to find like a real vert ramp that's, 12 to 14 feet high. They're
Yeah.
they're non-existent in Canada. It's really hard to find.
Really? Not even in
Yeah.
Canada? Holy.
Like there might be one 14-foot vert ramp in Canada that's active right now.
Okay.
I think CJ Skate Park has one
Yeah.
in Toronto. Um, Adam Hopkins has an 11-foot vert ramp in Squamish, or sorry, Britannia Beach.
Yeah.
And he was the one that really started teaching Mac the vert world.
Mm.
And Mac was over in Japan. Uh, his mom's Japanese, and both his parents lived in Japan for a while. They've met there, and they were over there. And there's a skate park called the G Skate Park, and it's got this big 14-foot vert ramp. And all the kids that are in X Games and that, like the young kids that are spinning the 900s and all that, they all skate at this park and skate that ramp. So he's now skating with them, and he's really getting encouraged by them. And he wanted more of that. And so his parents have found a way to get him over there during the winter. Like
Nice.
his grandpa lives right by that skate park. So he can go live with grandpa all winter, skate
Hmm.
that vert ramp, learn from all these legendary dudes that are literally setting world records in X Games right now.
Yeah.
And some of them are younger than him, and just learn that aspect of skating,
Yeah.
right? And I think he gets to work on his Japanese too. You
Yeah.
know,
Perfect.
it's cool, but like at the same time, you know, as long as that's what he wants to do,
Yes.
that's not his parents saying, "Hey, Mac, you have to go to Japan and become the best vert skater in the world so that you can make us $1 million."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really, really likes vert, and so they're spending the money to figure out how to get him there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They're following his lead.
And
Yeah.
supporting him in every way they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's so important. I know it's interesting. Like the kids who come through the program that I put on, we have a meeting with the parents in the middle. So it's like a 12-week thing, okay? And I just work on mental toughness, performance, like mindset, all that kind of stuff. And it's only the athlete and myself. And it's on the athlete to take responsibility, book the calls, do the work. Like I don't want the parent involved. It needs to be the kid doing it because then you're actually going to see action, right? But
yeah,
halfway through, I bring in the parents and we have a conversation that I almost mediate because this isn't happening in homes where I go, okay, so an athlete, what are mom and dad doing that is super awesome that you love? it's helping you, supporting you, all that kind of stuff. And they say a few things, and the parents are like, yeah, that's great, right? And then I ask, what are mom and dad doing that isn't helping very much and is actually maybe adding
Yeah.
some pressure or like whatever, right? And then the kid has an opportunity to actually say this to the parents and give the parents some constructive feedback. And then to actually have the parents go, oh, right? And
Because they don't
because
do it otherwise.
when has a parent ever asked that to a kid? Hey, what am I doing that is good? What am I doing that is not so good? And how can I change that?
Yep.
And that just that conversation, holding space for that is so huge. And so I always am trying to promote that to parents. Like ask your kid, like we're parents, we're doing all this for the first time, raising humans and all this kind of stuff. Even if you have four kids, the fourth one is different than the first one. It's new
Yeah.
every time. So have that communication. What do they want? What does success look like to them? Because it could be totally different than what success looks like to you as a parent, right?
Yeah, it's funny, and I'm sure that you're the same as me, where you've raised, thousands of kids. So they're other people's kids, and you get to see that exact scenario where you're
Yeah.
like, this is what is happening at that kid's house that makes them, react and act this way.
Yeah.
And so, like, without the conversation to the parent, it's never going to get to them,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, I think it's a big one to hear it directly from their kid,
Hmm.
which is hard for both sides, right?
Yes.
But it puts it in their brain. It's like, okay, I gotta ease up here or
Yeah.
give more here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And some parents, are just a waste of time.
Yeah. It's true.
Unfortunately.
It's true. It is. And it's
And
it's
that's we
sad that
just
they just can't get out of their own way.
yeah, and we just parent those kids more,
Yeah.
right? We're just like, okay, you're just gonna roll with us, you know.
Hmm.
You're not gonna get the support that you need any other way, so we'll just give it to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's that leads us into HMI, I think. Like you created this place as a community for people. Tell me a bit about what community means to you.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is that anyone of any age can hang out together. Like that's
Hmm.
something that sports separate that drives me crazy. And a lot of that separation comes down to money, which
Hmm.
pisses me off even more, right? Because the sports world goes in an age system on purpose so that every person in the middle gets their share. In skateboarding, like you can be the best at 12 years old or less. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the one kid that I was talking about with Mac, he's 9 years old, spinning three 900s in a row in an X Games contest and making history. What's to say he's not allowed to go pro?
Yeah.
Where in basketball or whatever, the school
Yeah.
system said he's not allowed to go pro. The system itself to the physical sport said he's not allowed to go pro. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so we live in a different world. This is an independent activity,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, HMI is just about people being able to come in and be themselves and also encourage and be encouraged by each other.
Hmm.
So like that's I think the thing that people don't understand until they're actually in here, right? Is like our events are all ages,
Yeah.
and that's what we want here,
Yeah.
you know? So even the contests that I've run for the last 20 years or more than that is they're mainly all just about having fun,
Yeah.
right? Like there's prizes, sometimes there's money, but the overall goal is like that everybody had a good time together. And yeah, you want to win, but you're just stoked on whoever won,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so like Andy Anderson, who like I taught since he was 7 years old and mentored to a professional skateboarder, and I'll still mentor him today. Like he's 30 years old. Like I'll always give him my advice on everything that he wants it for.
Yeah.
Um, he just always brings back that memories of those contests, the Hippie Mike's Tour de Surrey contests, like just looking forward to going to them and knowing that you were going to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to take it that seriously because it wasn't the most serious outcome, but you still tried your hardest to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, he was our first Canadian Olympic skateboarder. And he relates that run back to those contests because what did
Right.
he do in that run? He had fun in that run. He planned a run that he wanted, to express that was going to make him look as good as he is,
Yeah.
but he also was there to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So that having that mentality in your contest run actually helps you,
Oh yeah.
like you're not so stuck to be the best. You're just like, I'm just going to try and land everything that I have planned and hope it works.
Yeah.
And luckily, like he landed it all in the first run. So the second run, he could do anything he wanted. He knew he wasn't going to win that contest. He was hurt while he was there.
Yeah.
So his goal was to just succeed the best he could at that time.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I think that's the big thing is we just want everyone to participate together and grow together, right? Like as I don't know how old you are, and I'm not gonna ask. I'm 47 years old, right? We grew up in a generation where times were not so easy
Mm-hmm.
for what we did.
Yeah.
Like snowboarding started on the hills finally, but we were kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah.
It was like they didn't want us there
Yeah.
until all of a sudden we built a half pipe and all these people started driving from out of town to ride it and they were making all this money and they were like, oh, hey guys, what else do you want?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
used us to profit
Mm-hmm.
and still kept us in a corner, right? And skateboarding, same thing. If you look at all the old skate parks, where are they?
Yeah.
They're they're in the back of a bush.
Under a
They're
bridge.
under the power lines. They're under the bridges. They're everywhere where no one could see you,
Yes.
which was great for us because then we could do whatever the hell we wanted.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then they wanted us to change later from our habits. And it was like, you guys created those habits
Yeah.
by not supporting us.
Yeah.
And what was interesting in that era of the 80s and 90s was how skateboarders would battle against each other territorial wise, right?
Yeah.
Um, even though we should have been just fighting the same fight.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what made us even stronger,
Yeah.
really. So yeah. So that's the thing here is when I won the most inclusive environment award the other year, cultural diversity awards in the Fraser Valley, Christian Mac's dad said to me, he was like, "Well, of course you won. It's skateboarding." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I said, "Thank you for believing that skateboarding is this inclusive.
Yes.
That tells me that everything I'm providing for you and all the places I've shown you and introduced you to in my community are accepting." I said, "But
Mm-hmm.
they're still not all like that,
Yeah.
right? And they sure weren't like that when we grew up.
Yeah.
Like you used to go from your side of town to the other side of town. People are like, 'Why are you on our side of town, dude?'"
It's true. I remember
This
that
is
in
where we live,
Chilliwack too.
you
From
know?
one ski park to the other. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Hippie Mike's Tour to Surrey was a huge part of like changing the whole Lower Mainland and Fraser Valley's attitude
Mm,
with that. Because there wasn't so many contests back then. So to have like a series of contests, same with bowl series that I love to go to
mm-hmm.
have a series of contests that you're like looking forward to every year, the same places, and you see the same people, and you just become friends,
Yeah.
right? And when I had a store called Authentic Board Supply just over 10 years ago in Surrey, we were actually working on a documentary about Hippie Mike's Tour of Surrey. It never got completed, never came out. But
Mm,
every interview had the same uh, mental answers of like, this is where I met all the people I hang out with.
yes.
These are my lifelong friends,
Yeah.
right? Bowl series to me kicks off at Sealand Park every Canada Day. It's 30 years running. And I just call it a family reunion.
Yes.
Like that's the day you know you're going to see your family.
Yeah.
They're going to be there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was like I hung out at the skate parks. I've never been super great at like dropping in and like all that kind of stuff. I did try many times,
Mhm.
but I was more downhill longboarding, and so it was like the Attack of Danger Bay. Like every
Yeah,
year we go back, and it's the same people. And I mean, I haven't been for years now, sadly, but you knew who was going to be there, and it was just like yeah, it was like the homecoming, right? People from around the world. Like you haven't seen them since the last one. It was like, yeah, man, here you are, right? Yeah, it's so true. And that's something that I always just loved about the skateboarding community is that it was all ages. Like at the skate park, at any given day, you could look around and you could see an older skater helping out like a 7-year-old trying to get on the board for the first time, or it's blazing hot out and somebody's like, "Hey, you don't have a water bottle here," tossing them a water bottle, or like, stay hydrated, dude. Like, right? Like people are watching out for each other, and it's just such an interesting it's an interesting thing because when you're on the outside looking in for people who don't skateboard and aren't a part of that community, there's a little bit of like a looking down your nose. There was anyways back in the day, right? And so like I know there was even 9 months where I gave up my car and I just longboarded everywhere, like groceries, like whatever. It didn't matter. I just did. And anytime that I had my longboard with me inside a store, security followed me around,
that's right.
right? And it's like, come on now. And so it's really I friggin' love that you're out here like winning this award for diversity and like all this kind of stuff because you're actually showing what this community is about. It is about being inclusive, about helping the generations, about all like yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the documentary, it was our first HMI documentary called The Future Hope. Um, I say the line like, when I was a kid, there was people that wouldn't hire me for a job because I had skateboarding as a hobby on my resume.
Yeah.
And so I kept it on my resume so that I never had to deal with those people as an employer. You know
Nice.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that's what's turning you off, you have no idea anything about me, you're not even looking at anything else,
Yeah.
then I don't want to know you anyway
Yeah.
because you're too judgmental and
Yeah.
you're obviously lopsided. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, I encourage people to walk in with their boards,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let them know who you are. And the world's different. I mean, I think we pushed down a lot of boundaries in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, uh, people have their hair dyed and their tattoos and their piercings and everything, and they're working the front counter.
Yeah. That never
We're
would
like,
happen.
we're never supposed to be the face of your business,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Even in sports like baseball, you weren't allowed to show tattoos.
Yeah.
So what year? Just recently,
Yeah.
and so like people had tattooed arms, they had to wear long sleeves.
Yeah.
Now they got them up their neck and on their friggin' foreheads. So like the world has to change, and without people pushing the boundaries, it won't change. So you
Yeah.
have to stand up for your beliefs and just make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like, yeah, standing your ground sometimes is a painful route to take,
Yeah.
right? Like, but if you're gonna bow down and change, then who are you,
Mm-hmm.
right? We'll go back to Andy Anderson. Like, I don't think Thrasher magazine has ever put a regular photo of Andy in their magazine because he wears a helmet, no matter what, when he skates.
Mm.
They've done articles on him.
Yeah.
They, George Powell does paid ads all the time.
Yeah.
So those are in there. But like, I still don't think they put a normal just photo of him skating. They'll promote his
Because he wears
video
a helmet.
because he wears a helmet, because the stigma is still so ignorant
Yes.
that this helmet affects your whole way of skating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like, because I hung out with him for 20 something years, I forget he's even wearing it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what
It's
I
just a
mean?
part of him. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And what's funny in that situation is how anti helmet I always was.
Mm.
Like I used to like show up at snowboard contests and they'd say, "Oh, this was when helmets were just starting to come in
Yeah.
the '90s," and they'd say, "Oh yeah, if you're not wearing a helmet, you're gonna get disqualified." I say, "Okay, cool," and then I go get disqualified. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I was that guy. I
Yeah.
never wore a helmet, other than teaching skateboarding for the city of Surrey. And as soon as I was done the lesson, I threw it on the ground and kept skating, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm the same person encouraging Andy to keep wearing his because that's what he believes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that comes down to standing your ground,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
we were in Montreal one time, and Andy was in like fourth place after the semifinals of this contest, and so the finals were the next day. And we're in our hotel room, and there's a knock on the door, and a group of guys comes in, and we were all going to go out somewhere together, right? And one of the guys that was there, Andy really liked. His name was Riley, and he just really liked his style of skating. And everybody's, talking whatever, and all of a sudden the one guy, we don't even know this guy, whatever, he just looks at Andy, goes, "So what's with the helmet?" Right? And Andy says, "Oh well, I'm just adamant about wearing it all the time, and like I've had like full on concussions in my helmet
Mm.
and really bad injuries. Like if I wasn't wearing it, it would have been way worse. And like so I just am always gonna wear it." Right. And somehow it turned into us all talking about all these head injuries that we've all had. And the one guy says, "Yeah, like I'm still colorblind in one eye from 10 years ago hitting my head at Whistler."
Oof.
And that Riley Boland, he goes, "Starting to sound like Andy's the only smart one in the room." Right. And
Yes.
then we all left and the conversation was over and we went and did whatever. But it was
Yeah.
just really funny how it turned around
Yeah.
naturally,
Hmm.
right? And still none of us wore a helmet except Andy. Right. But that was the way it is, right?
Yeah.
And so like I've always encouraged him. It's not even me encouraging him to wear a helmet. It's me encouraging him to be himself no matter what
Yeah.
and not bow down to the system.
Yeah.
Like the question comes up all the time. If you take this helmet off, you get this instead of nothing.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be in there.
Yeah.
Why are you forcing someone to change?
Yeah.
Right? The same guy that was in the room that was colorblind in one eye, he was an editor of one of the Canadian skate magazines at the time. And while Andy's destroying this contest, he's sitting beside me saying, "I wish I could put him in the magazine." I said, "Then put him in the magazine." He says, "No, I can't." I said, "Why?" He goes, "We'll lose all our sponsors." I said, "Then it's time for new sponsors."
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, don't bow down because
Yeah.
you're bowing down right
Yeah.
now by not standing your ground and
Yeah.
changing the world. Right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Danger Bay, right? So I was good friends with Michael Brook, who owned Concrete Wave,
Yeah.
and his magazine and his show was all about the opposite. It was just showcasing the people who are themselves, right?
Hmm.
The skate industry puts down the longboard scene.
Yeah.
Michael Brook pushed it up,
Yeah.
and anyone else, the freestyle skaters, everyone else, he would promote them.
Yeah.
Others wouldn't,
Yeah.
right?
Because that's how change happens. If we all just continue, then we're going to be in like, we'd still be in the dark ages. Somebody has to, like you said, stand up for that change, for who they are and what they believe in, and then others need to have the courage to follow too.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do young people figure out who they really are and what to stand up for? You know what I mean? Like when we're young, like that's a very impressionable time too, when we're like, oh, we want to do this, oh, we want to do that. So like what are some of the questions maybe, or like how do we figure out what our like standing point is?
Yeah. Okay, man. Um, like where your standing point is as a coach or as the person themselves. Like you're
Let's do
talking about
both. Let's
how
do
does
both. Let's say
how
I'm
does
a young person. Let's do the young person first.
Yeah, so that's a funny question because you don't know who you are till you are that person. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like, so, we'll go back to what I said earlier about trying all different things and deciding what you enjoy,
mm-hmm,
right? And as you decide what you enjoy, that's going to make you who you are.
mm-hmm,
And as you meet people in that community, they're going to encourage you one way or another way and influence you to change a little bit here and there, right? And eventually you're going to decide, like me, I only wear shorts and tank tops all year round. You know what I mean? And that's who I am, right? And I don't even own pants. So it works, right?
yeah,
But that wasn't something I did my whole life. That just was something that evolved to the way
yeah,
I was the most comfortable. And I don't think you'll ever fully know who you are until you die because
mm-hmm,
you're going to change constantly throughout life, right?
yeah,
Like, when you have kids, you change.
yeah,
When you move to a new place, you change. When have a new job, you change, whatever, right? Um, but what parts of you are you the most adamant about keeping the same,
mm,
right? So, like, I guess for myself, just the mentality of always pushing forward and being able to just continue on the path I want to be on, which was a path of destroying my body, I guess, you know. But just really no, just being creative and like always pushing the boundaries. I love to invent. I love to create. Like when I build the skate park here, we're renovating it right now. That goes in my brain as a vision of what I want to see in this new section and how is it going to play into the other part of the park and make sure that everything flows together, but still stays the same way that I want to make it, right? And you have to adjust it a little bit here and there as you're building it from your initial, vision, but make sure you end up with the same outcome,
yeah,
right? And so, yeah, for the kids, I mean, it's really just really figure out the most things that you're the most passionate about
mm,
and keep those things,
yeah,
right? So,
okay,
um, like you might be really into hip hop, and then like the scene that you skate with or hang out with doesn't like it at all. Does that mean that you never listen to it, or you just listen to it on your own?
mm,
You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't
yeah,
shouldn't stop you from hanging out with those people, and it shouldn't make you change to hang out with those people.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know? And then as like a parent or coach, like really learning those things about those kids and helping them keep that.
mm,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
because the world's going to keep on influencing you to change for
yeah,
their sake. It's not for you.
yes, yeah. This has been good. Holy, an hour. Boom, just like that. This is, yeah. Have we missed anything that you think is important for, kids ages 11 to 24, their parents? Like, should we talk about anything else before we finish today?
Um, yeah, I think just like for the kids, like it's hard growing up because life is competitive, right?
Mm,
And so, you're taught that in school. You're taught to try and be the best and try and win this award and that award, whether it's spelling or reading or, a sports thing or whatever. And just try to encourage the others that are having trouble, right?
mm,
And like passing your knowledge down. I think that's something I meant to say earlier and forgot was when I said my age is like we grew up in a hard time,
mm-hmm,
just like our parents grew up in a hard time and whatever they were dealing with. And so our job is to help the next generation have an easier time to get to where we were, and then they can progress the world from there, right? So
mm-hmm,
when I pass my experience, my knowledge on to these young kids, and I make them as smart as I am at 7 years old, where I'm 40 years older than them. And now they have all this knowledge. then they can only progress further from there,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That is yeah, that's so important. And that's one of the things actually I was going to touch on too is to I love that the skate park and like what you're building there is all ages because of that. I know that as a volleyball player, I always learned the most when I played with older people.
right.
Whether I was 11 playing with the 19-year-olds or, 15 playing with the 30-year-olds, like it didn't, if I was playing up, I was learning so much more because the people who are older than us, they have those skills. They have a different perspective. They are even like more patient. They, wait for the ball to come over the net or, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, that's working for them. And then it pushes you and helps you evolve and grow so much more. And that's definitely one thing that I love about spending time with young people too, is being able
Yeah.
to pass that on.
Yeah, it's the same with me. Like growing up, all my friends that I skateboard and snowboard with were
Yeah.
3 to 4 years older than me at least, right? And so the guys that were my age, they were not as aggressive as me,
Yeah.
I guess, or like brainless, like
Yeah.
I would just go. Like I love, we built a big jump on the snowboard hill. I want to be the first one to hit it. I want to see if I can make the gap. I don't want to see if someone else makes it and then go, okay, it's safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it in my brain. I'm like, let me hit it now so that
Yeah.
I can make it. And then like as I got a little older, I would like flip over it the first hit. I wouldn't even just test it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'd
Yeah.
think, what's the hardest trick I should do on this? And I'm gonna do it to test it,
Yeah.
and then like the next kids are just like, wow, like I want to be like that. And that's the way I grew up was
Yeah.
I looked at those guys that were older than me and I wanted to be like them.
Hmm.
And then I got to be like them and then I pushed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in here, I think it's funny because when I first opened this place, we had a big generation of like moms that started skateboarding, right? And because they were here with their kids and their kids are learning and they're just sitting here watching. And
Yeah.
then they're like, well, why can't I do it? So they
Yes.
start getting out there and learning. And so you have like in one side, you've got the older, really experienced generation teaching the youngest kids in here.
Hmm.
And then those young kids that are just learning are now teaching the older generation what they just learned. So
Nice.
they're learning how to teach
Yeah.
at the same time, right? And like,
Yeah.
let's touch on Brett for a minute. Like Brett coming in here blind,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
um, that's an experience that everyone has to adjust to, right? So like me, I've dealt with a lot of things in life. Nothing really shakes me. It's like, okay, I got a blind skater in the park. Like, so what are his abilities and what does he need from me? Right?
Hmm.
That's my attitude. But
Yeah.
these young kids that are just learning how a skate park works might not understand that now they have to have like a little more etiquette and a little more knowledge of when Brett's out there,
Yeah.
right? Because he might not see you coming,
Yeah.
or you might see him going somewhere he's not supposed to be going and like want to stop him and help him,
Yeah.
right? Like he might need your help,
Yeah.
right? And I think having him around has been a giant uh eye opener. I always say it's an eye opener
Mm.
for all of us that can see, but
Yeah.
it's a giant inspiration to like all these kids that would never experience that any other way. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
anywhere else. And
Yeah.
now, like when they're in the skate park and some other random person comes up and says, "Hey, I have this going on," and just to let you know, they're going to adapt to that immediately,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Um, on the note of Brett, like the documentary was just amazing. Everyone that's seen it so far, like they just won't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I keep forgetting to talk about when we were doing the premieres was this story from the youth centers when I used to work for the city of Surrey. And because Brett goes on and on about how easy it was for me to just say yes to whatever he wanted to allow him to be included. But that's just me. That's just like,
Hmm.
well, what does it take for you to be included? why should you sit on the sideline because you can't do one thing? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Are you missing a leg? Are you in a wheelchair? Are you blind? Are you deaf? Whatever it is, what do we need to do to help you participate
Yeah.
is my first thing. Instead of like, oh, I guess you can't join in, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm pretty sure I've told him this story in the past, but anyway, there was a kid that came to the youth center all the time. He was about 14 years old, and he just started coming out of nowhere, and he was completely blind, and he would come and I'd make him feel comfortable and help him. I wasn't a wasn't anything to me, but all the other kids used to play dodgeball outside in this fenced in sports box, and he would stand there and he would listen to them play,
Yeah.
and he'd always be like, "Man, it just sounds like they're having the best time of their life," you know.
Yeah.
And so one day I said, "Would you play if everyone was blind?" And he was like, "Yeah, definitely, right?" So I said to the other kids, I said, "You guys want to get blindfolds and play blindfolded dodgeball?" Right?
Yes.
And so that's what we did. I said, "We're not going to play it right now." I said, "I got to write down some rules. So,
Hmm.
like, there's an actual system that keeps you safe,
Yeah.
right?" I said, "But, like, why should this kid not, like, why does he miss out on this experience?"
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I wrote down some rules. Basic, easy way to do it was to have one person on each side that wasn't blindfolded, that was kind of like your coach yelling where to
Yeah.
run and where the balls are and look out and whatever.
Yes.
And and so off they went and they played this game, and he had the best time ever. So did everybody else.
Yeah.
And it turned into like a thing where even if he wasn't there, they just wanted to play blindfold dodgeball.
Yes.
And so it was going like hard all the time. And I ended up getting called in this office one day, and one of the managers says, like, "Have you been letting the kids play blindfolded dodgeball?" I was like, "Yeah." And they said, "Yeah, you can't do that." Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fought against it, whatever. But
Hmm.
liability wise, because it's like the city of Surrey, it's like this giant, stupid
Yeah.
system. I worked there for 11 years, so I know it
Yeah.
all. The person telling me this, she had no problem with it,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
the higher up bullshit.
Yeah. Uh,
But
but
all I could think was like, you just took that from that one kid.
yeah. Yeah. And how amazing that for a short period of time he got to have that experience and you taught all those other kids who were playing blind dodgeball with him to have like awareness and to include people and find a unique way to include people and how much fun it could be,
Yeah,
right? Because I think too a lot of times that youth or adults, we think that if we are going to include somebody else, that it's going to take away from our experience in some way. However, when you take the time and you actually figure out a way, it adds to the experience. It doesn't even add it makes a completely different experience that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And so
exactly.
it's just training these kids and showing them to think outside the box. There is no box. How can we think about life without parameters like that?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why I was so quick when Brett was asking me if he could do certain things
Yes.
to make my park accessible to him. It's like, yeah, whatever you need. Like, not only can you do it, but tell me what you want to do, and I'll do it for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and none, not one of the things we did in here affected anything or anyone negatively.
Yeah.
It actually helped everyone else in the park because it puts these lines and markers around that now you can utilize with your eyes
Yes.
and make the park easier to skate for yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it just never made sense to me. But that day was just like, I don't know, I can't remember that kid's name, and I swear he stopped coming right after that.
Yeah. Well, I bet. But you know what? I bet he remembers your name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a powerful story. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Okay. Amazing. That I feel like that's like a great way to close this out. This is
Yeah, man.
yeah. Thank you. I want to thank you, like seriously, for showing up for yourself, for showing up for other people, for creating spaces where people can just like be and be seen and be heard and take risks and learn new things and like these are all so vital to human development at every age and every age is welcome at HMI. And so I just yeah, I want to say a huge shout out to you, to the team that you have working there and what you're building. So
Right on, dude.
yeah, until next time, everybody, train your mind, build your grit, and forge your legacy.
Cool.